Senator Kelly.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. I'm a little late here, but thank you for the opportunity to testify on two bills that I introduced on behalf of the Colorado River Indian Tribes and the White Mountain Apache Tribes in Arizona. In a moment, I'll get to the two bills, but first I want to introduce the two tribal leaders joining us today. Obviously, you already heard from Chairwoman Lee Gatewood, and I'll introduce her as well, but after her testimony here. But Chairwoman Amelia Flores is testifying on behalf of the Colorado River Indian Tribes, and as you've already heard from Chairwoman Lee Gatewood, she's testifying on behalf of the White Mountain Apache Tribe. To both chairwomen, thank you for your leadership and support of these bills. The West is dealing with the real-time effects of the worst drought in 1,200 years. Let me say that again, 1,200 years. Below average snowpack in the upper basin of the Colorado River is reducing water availability for farmers, for ranchers, for businesses, and for communities across 7 states in the West. The issue is a priority for me because Arizona is on the front lines of this mega drought. And in many instances, tribal nations are among the most vulnerable to its effects. At the same time, tribes hold significant water rights that can position them to lead on water conservation and drought management. For example, the Gila River Indian community recently led efforts to team up with water users in Arizona, in Nevada, and Southern California. And together they announced the first ever plan to conserve 1 million acre feet of water in the lower Colorado River Basin over the next 2 years. That water will stay in Lake Mead. That plan demonstrates the role that tribes can play in promoting a secure water future for the West. The Colorado River Indian Tribes are located along the banks of the Colorado River, where they have farmed this land for thousands of years. Agriculture is a key part of their economy and their culture. In 2005, the Supreme Court quantified their right to nearly 1/4 of all Colorado River water allocated in Arizona. Today, they farm across 125 square miles of tribal land using an irrigation project that was built mostly by the Bureau of Indian Affairs, and it also just happens to be one of the oldest systems like this in the nation. Now, I've visited their farmland, and I've seen the BIA infrastructure that was built a long time ago, and significant amounts of water are being wasted by a failing flood irrigation project. In some places, and it's not just one place. You can see water leaking through hand-dug dirt canals, and we're just losing the water. Chairwoman Flores wants to urgently modernize that system, but she needs the resources to line canals and install water-efficient infrastructure like drip irrigation. They have some pilot projects on this already that I've been out and visited that are successful. Now, my bill would enable her government to lease a portion of their water off reservation to non-tribal water users for things like habitat restoration, water storage, and for Arizona communities who need it as the drought gets worse. The revenue then from these transfers could then be reinvested into their farming operations for repairs and water efficiency upgrades. And then this will pay dividends. They can conserve more water, they can lease more water, they'll have the resources to become even more resilient and water efficient. And this capability would be a new tool in ongoing efforts to help manage drought in Arizona. This legislation was developed following a series of public meetings organized by the Arizona Department of Water Resources, and it's backed by local governments. It's backed by environmental organizations and many in Arizona's business community. Madam Chairwoman, my written testimony will include several letters from Arizonans who support this bill. Now, my other bill would address the drinking water needs of the White Mountain Apache tribe, which is right now is completely reliant on a diminishing groundwater source. 12 years ago, Senator Jon Kyl led an effort to secure the water rights of the White Mountain Apache tribe. And in exchange for waiving their claims to the Salt River, the tribe agreed to accept the federal government's offer to build a dam and a reservoir to store their surface water. Unfortunately, engineering complications have led to cost overruns and delays in constructing this dam. Now, my legislation would extend the deadline for completing the dam and increase its authorized funding level. The United States government has an obligation to honor the commitment that it made to the White Mountain Apache tribe, and my bill would do just that. So, Madam Chairwoman, this concludes my testimony, and thank you for the opportunity to let me speak at today's hearing.